be on the board of Burisma?
I don't know. I don't know. Probably not. I don't think that there's a lot of things that would happen in my life that if my last name wasn't vital. I think that it is impossible for me to be on any of the boards that I just mentioned without saying that I'm the son of the Vice President of the United States.
Come on, everybody knows it. Joining us tomorrow night, I know you will, at midnight for Can't Miss Reaction to the final presidential debate. Shannon Ream, the Fox News at Night team. Take it all from here, Shannon.
I'm looking forward to it. I don't know about you, Laura. Popping the popcorn, ready to go.
All right, we'll be watching.
All right, everybody, are you looking live at Nashville for the setup for that final presidential debate? Now, Hunter Biden will most certainly be a part of the discussion, especially in light of the breaking news tonight. Several sources confirming to Fox News that the FBI's decision to subpoena a laptop allegedly belonging to Hunter came in connection with a money laundering investigation. In minutes, we'll talk with the ranking Republican on the House Intelligence Committee, Devin Nunes, about what we're learning in that case tonight. But first, the FBI says tonight Iran, with an assist from Russia, cooked up and carried out an effort to undermine confidence in the upcoming presidential election. So why would Iran send fake emails to people in Florida and Alaska posing as the Proud Boys in a voter intimidation effort? Who stands to benefit? Well, on cable news, the conversation immediately shifted to claims the president may be considering replacing the FBI director.
If there is a second Trump term, and if he decides to fire Director Wray, the question is, who does he bring in behind Chris Wray?
Fascinating that the director of FBI has obviously convinced the director of national intelligence that this is real and the nation needs to know about it.
So here's how other experts are describing the Iranian effort. One says clearly organized and very much planned. Another claims this is absolutely something to be concerned about. And another says this incident marks a fundamental shift in our understanding of Iran's willingness to interfere in the democratic process. We'll also examine coming up whether there's a sophisticated foreign influence campaign underway to recreate conditions from 2016. You may recall, candidate Hillary Clinton continues to put much of the blame for her loss on the Kremlin. Hello and welcome to Fox News at Night. I'm Shannon Ream in Washington. We will get to the breaking news on that mysterious laptop allegedly belonging to Hunter Biden. While we kick things off, correspondent David Lee Miller on the FBI announcement tonight. Good evening, David.
Good evening, Shannon. The Director of National Intelligence, joined by the Director of the FBI tonight, accused Iran of being behind efforts to send out emails to threaten U.S. voters. Additionally now, the intelligence chief, John Ratcliffe, also said independently Russia is trying to undermine the upcoming U.S. election. According to Ratcliffe, Iran sent out spoof emails to intimidate voters, incite unrest, and damage President Trump. In the last few days, Democratic voters in Alaska, Florida, and possibly other states received emails purporting to be from the far-right group the Proud Boys, warning, quote, "You will vote for President Trump on election day, or we will come after you." A spokesman for the Proud Boys denies any involvement in the emails. Ratcliffe offered this advice to voters who received such a threat.
Do not allow these efforts to have their intended effect. If you receive an intimidating or manipulative email in your inbox, don't be alarmed and do not spread it.
In addition to sending out the emails, Ratcliffe said Iran is posting videos online implying fraudulent ballots could be cast both domestically and from overseas. And as for Russia, Ratcliffe said it has also obtained some voter registration information just as they did in 2016. He warned that both Russia and Iran could try and use that data to spread false information to sow chaos and confusion, undermining confidence in the election. And while it appears that Democrats are the voters that are being targeted now by Iran, Ratcliffe says what's happening is a threat to all Americans.
This is not a partisan issue. I've had conversations today with members of Congress from both sides of the aisle, and there is complete unanimity in the U.S. government in our resolve to combat the enemies of freedom. The President has instructed me to keep the public informed as appropriate.
A report in the Washington Post said servers in Saudi Arabia, Estonia, and the UAE appear to have been used to send these threatening emails. Meanwhile, the FBI says it is working with both technology and social media companies to make sure that their platforms are not being used by foreign adversaries to spread said, you can be confident your votes are secure. Shannon.
I think that's what every American wants and needs to believe in this election. David Lee Miller, thank you in New York tonight. So Joe Biden calling the alleged email scandal involving his son Hunter garbage. Joe Biden also weighing in today on The View. Correspondent Leland Bittard has the latest tonight for us. Good evening, Leland.
Shannon, good evening to you. Joe Biden took the day off from the campaign trail, but says the Hunter Biden reporting is, quote, Trump's henchmen going after him. What's most noteworthy is what he doesn't say in this upcoming soundbite. Never once does he or anyone from his campaign, or even Hunter Biden, say these purported emails are fake.
As activity returns, downtown Bethesda, Maryland closed a major street, allowing spacing. Laura Correa can only watch. Under the rules, her micro spa must remain closed.
It went from being full force, fully booked, working, every single day, almost even too much, and to absolutely nothing. March 15th, I had to close my doors. I had to shut everything down.
She applied for and was denied a payroll protection program loan, forcing her to lay off her one employee and adapt.
I set up my e-commerce on my website, which I didn't have before. I don't know why. I just never had that, and I'm like,
Well, clearly that was not Joe Biden in his soundbite. I'll tell you what he said. This is garbage. Rudy Giuliani, Trump's henchman. It's a latch-dis effort in this desperate campaign to smear me and my family. Joe Biden, also on The View today, never said these emails were fake. Fox News has obtained a series of emails allegedly from Hunter Biden, including one from May 2017 with Chinese energy executives. A source on the email chain has verified its authenticity. This is some of Mike Emanuel's reporting. It discusses payment for 6 people, including a reference to 10% of the equity in the deal to be held by H. That's presumably Hunter. We think we have that soundbite from Joe Biden. Take a listen.
This is the same garbage Rudy Giuliani, Trump's henchman. It's the last-ditch effort in this desperate campaign to smear me and my family.
The same goes for Dr. Joe Biden on The View today. Not a single denial that the emails from Hunter Biden to business associates in Ukraine or China are real.
As a mother, I don't like to see my son attacked, and certainly I don't like to see my husband attacked. But for me, or to me, these are distractions.
Fox News has obtained a series of the alleged Hunter Biden emails, including this one from May 2017. Correspondence with Chinese energy executives. The source on the email chain verified its authenticity. It discusses payment for 6 people, including a reference to 10% of the equity in the deal to be held by H, presumably Hunter, for the, quote, big guy. Texas Senator Ted Cruz jumped on that.
The China emails are offering to pay over $1 million to the big guy, to Joe Biden himself, cash in his bank account.
Documents obtained by Fox News indicate the laptop was seized in 2019 as part of an FBI money laundering investigation. A property receipt for the laptop is labeled with a 272 case ID number, which is the Bureau's classification for money laundering, and BA, indicating the Baltimore field office that has jurisdiction over Wilmington, Delaware. If a criminal case was opened and subpoenas were issued, a government official told Fox, that means there is a high likelihood that both the laptop and hard drive contain fruits of criminal activity.
There you have
So we
it.
didn't get the right story that time, Shannon. In keeping with their long-standing practice, the FBI will neither confirm or deny any possible investigations into the younger Biden.
Of course, they're corrupt. They're about as
All right,
crooked as Joe
appreciate that,
Biden.
Leland, and we're back to the story, so we will continue to follow it. New developments in connection with the laptop allegedly belonging to Hunter Biden, plus breaking news tonight on foreign interference in our elections. So let's break it down with author of the book Countdown to Socialism, GOP Congressman from California and ranking member of the House Intelligence Committee, Devin Nunes. Welcome back, Congressman.
Hey, Shannon, great. It's great to be with you. It's been a while.
Oh, okay, so we're told that you all were briefed a little bit on what we heard from the FBI director and the DNI tonight about the fact that Iran, with some help from Russia, has been pushing phony stuff out, primarily to cause chaos in our waiting days going into the election. What can you tell us about what you know?
Well, I want everybody to know that the election is a lot of people have their ballots now. The best thing they can do is get the ballots turned in, fill them out, get them to the elections office, throw them in the mail if you want to throw them in the mail. If you don't want to, just get them to the elections office. There's no sense to just sit on them. And I think we've come a long way in terms of what the Department of Homeland Security has done, working with all the other 50 states to ensure that this election goes off without a hitch. And I think that's the key, Shannon. The idea that foreign countries are going to meddle in our election is nothing new. And in fact, before 4 years ago, when the Democrats brought up this phony Russian hoax issue that we dealt with for so many years, this was pretty normal that the intelligence agencies would monitor what our foreign adversaries would do. But in the meantime, I'm glad that the Director of National Intelligence has come forth and made this public. I think it just makes sense for people. Just be careful what emails you open.
Okay, former CIA officer himself, Buck Sexton, tweeting this out tonight. He says Iran is interfering in our election on behalf of Joe Biden. His assessment. By the rules established by our biased and moronic media, his words in 2016, this now means that if Trump loses, we can spend 4 years whining about how, quote, Iran stole the election for Biden and unleash a special counsel on him. Congressman, I'm guessing that's not going to happen.
Well, look, I'm just hopeful that everybody understands now, through all of this mess, that foreign countries are always going to play games in elections. If they have intelligence services and they don't like the United States, they're going to play these games. What we need to make sure we don't have happen is for our own FBI and Department of Justice to get corrupted by the Clinton campaign like what happened back in 2016. So I think everybody's watchful for this. There's a lot of ballots out there, so the best advice I have for the American people, get your ballots in.
Okay, I want to talk to you about the Hunter Biden story and the revelation that a couple of our reporters and producers have run down tonight, Brooke Singman and Jake Gibson. They say the FBI subpoena, which we've seen this document, and Leland reported on this, of the laptop and hard drive purportedly belonging to Hunter, came in connection with a money laundering investigation in 2019. We have multiple law enforcement officials telling us that now. We don't know if that investigation is still ongoing or if it's directly related to Hunter Biden. So that's what we know about the laptop. Now, Senator Johnson has tried numerous times to get information from the FBI. He says they're not complying. He has now gone to the Inspector General at the DOJ and said, I can't get answers about this laptop, whether the FBI has it, whether they did, when they had it, why wasn't it turned over to you all who were dealing with impeachment? He's asked for an investigation by the Inspector General. Do you expect that to bear fruit?
Well, it will take too much time, but I can tell you that our investigative team, we have also independently verified that the laptop is indeed real and that the computer technician in Delaware was just trying to be helpful. I think you hit the nail right on the head, and that is the American people, after dealing with 3.5 years of a phony Russia hoax, a $40 million investigation by Robert Mueller, and I know a lot of people have forgotten about this, but in August of 2019, all of a sudden out of nowhere, there was this new Ukraine hoax where it was a leak of the president talking to the new president of Ukraine, talking about corruption. And we started dealing with this all through the end of 2019. Well, the computer technician came forward because he thought that he might have relevant information that the Congress should have if you, in fact, are investigating Ukraine. And we ended up actually impeaching the president of the United States over this. So the fact that the FBI didn't take what that American's concern was, the reason he took that to the FBI was kind of twofold: troubling pornographic images, and also because it was in the news. And the fact that the FBI did not bring that to the United States Congress during the impeachment of the president of the United States is appalling. And somebody needs to answer why that wasn't brought to the Congress. Remember, this would have been in December of 19